first question. Although you've done different roles, you're best known for your work like in Sanctuary, Supernatural, and now The Flash. Do you like these roles being a genre fan, or is it something, just roles you like to go back to as an actor?
Yeah, it's more of an actor thing that just kind of happens to fall into that genre. I'm a big fan of playing characters.
Right.
And in a lot of cases, the characters happen to be villains and bad guys because they're the ones who are these out of the box type,
Right.
guys. And so a lot of times when you're playing villains that are out of the box and really creative, it definitely falls into sci-fi.
Right.
Most of the times, it's either a vampire or a witch hunter or a demon to the Weather Wizard,
Right.
on the Flash. So, and the thing is I love it both. Like I'm a huge sci-fi guy, fan,
Right.
but as well, I love to play characters, and I don't want to play just a normal guy. I want
Right.
to always play a really cool character because that's what I'm into acting for, to have fun, and that's why I happen to play a lot of villains, is because a lot of times those are those type of characters that I go for. So. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
If they had more of those characters that were good guys, I'd have a different resume. Yeah.
Is this your first con to attend in Houston?
No, I just attended Orlando Conjure Festival, but this is the first one I've ever been in Texas and in Houston. First time I've ever been here.
Okay.
And so I think the convention reign is just all starting right now, so it's gonna be fun. And I love these conventions. It's a way to get back to interacting with the fans.
Right.
I used to do theater.
Okay.
In the past, and that's what I loved about it, and it would motivate you when you get that reaction, the live reaction. And when you're on set and you're filming, you don't get any of that.
Right.
So attending conventions and stuff kind of gives you that level of face-to-face interaction to motivate you and build up adrenaline and excitement for yourself about your own show. So it's really fun, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, with actors like Stephen Amell in Arrow and Henry Cavill in Man of Steel, we're beginning to see Canadian and British actors take over traditional American superhero roles. Do you think that's the right person for the job thing, or the U.S. is kind of no longer the heart of fandom like it used to be?
Well, I definitely think it's the right person for the job as a Canadian. But you know what? There's a lot of Canadians really taking notice in this industry right now, and
Right.
And sometimes there's this persona and this false bravado out there that Canadians kind of get the lower pick of the litter. A lot of the TV shows cast out of the States first, and then they cast the guest stars out of Canada. And in a lot of the cases, unfortunately, that is the case.
Right.
But I mean, in Flash, for example, I was pretty blessed with the fact that they gave me the shot and the opportunity at a pretty big character. So
Right.
the false bravado might be out there, but in a way, I'd like to think that I kind of proved that wrong. So.
Yeah, thank you.
And a lot of other actors before me have proved it wrong. So
Right.
we have a lot of Canadian talent out there. So.
Yeah, like Malcolm Reynolds.
You look at everyone from back in the day, John Candy to Jim Carrey to
Nathan Fillion.
I wouldn't go as far as saying Justin Bieber or anything, but there's Canadians out there doing
Yeah.
good things, man. So.
Thanks. How does your family handle you traveling for work?
My traveling for work? What?
You traveling for work. How does your
traveling for
family
work.
handle it?
Yeah, well, I've actually lived on my own for about 14 years now. I moved out right out of high school.
Right.
Because where I was raised and where my family is, there's not much of an acting industry there at all.
Right.
So I had to move, and they all still live in this hometown. So I only get to see my family like once or twice a year, unfortunately. And so they love the fact that I'm doing what I do. I mean,
Right.
they're my biggest fans, and it's exciting to them. But at the same time, I'm glad they're still in this situation because they make it very easy for me to not get big-headed in this industry. They bring me down to speed right away, So and they definitely help keep me humble and gracious with what I'm doing. So I personally love traveling. I hate airports and stuff, but I love traveling. So, yeah.
Thank you. Now the last question is, since you've been doing the job, what has been the weirdest con experience so far? I know you only do a couple, but what's the weirdest thing you think's happened?
Well, I think what's weird is when fans take their supportive you to levels where they start tattooing your names on themselves and stuff. So when I start seeing stuff like that, and I have, it's flattering. By all means, it's flattering. But at the same time, you're just like you know, no amount of liquor or whatever make me do that. So it's something like that is still kind of a little surreal to me. And things when, you know, fans are dressing up as your characters and stuff like that, that's stuff that I'm still getting used to, and
Right.
people seeing in the street. And I went shopping for comic books a while ago, and the people in the comic book store noticed that, you know, that
Yeah.
I was the Weather Wizard, and they got me to sign some Rook comic book, and even that kind of stuff is still really weird to me. Like I said, I come from a small town in
Right.
Canada, and that kind of stuff is still a little surreal to me. But I'm welcoming it, and I'm adapting to it. That's
Right.
all. Yeah.
Well, that's it, Chad.
Well, thank you so much, man.